Welcome to Twisted Day. Because Mondays are hard, apparently. But I should probably be able to get on a Monday schedule relatively soon. I don't know about this upcoming Monday, because I got jury duty, but we'll see. Till then, I'll stream Twisted Metal whenever the hell I feel like it. And today, it happens to be a Wednesday, and it happens to be literally Twisted Metal, the video game by that title, which is not recognized by Twitch. Still, to this day, the only Twisted Metal that you can categorize this game as is the 2012 remake with the same name. Very awkward. But let's get some good music going, because it has already been brought up in chat, the Twisted Marathon. What about that? I'm clearly fantastic at scheduling, so let's remind ourselves all about the Twisted Marathon. It's supposed to happen back in Christmas Eve, the canonical date of all Twisted Metal games. However, I got sick. It didn't work out. Now, it's still gonna happen. It's gonna happen fairly soon. But it's not gonna be merry anymore. That was for Christmas. Now it is merely a Twisted Marathon, which this is not what that is. Worry not, I have a specific image all set up for this, and it's gonna be well worth the very brief wait that it takes to get there. But like I said, it's not a Twisted Marathon anymore. It's been downgraded, and I'm probably never going to schedule another marathon on Christmas, because that is just asking for trouble. I seem to not even know where I placed my image that I prepared for this. I'm that good. Frankly, I'm surprised that I'm awake right now, so. Anyway, we'll call it a Twisted Marathon for today. And until then, I will hope that I am able to bring this to you on March 10th, this channel's 11-year anniversary. There is a sort of Damocles hanging over that date, but we'll probably be fine to play through every single Twisted Metal game on March 10th. Looking forward to it. That's a Sunday. For now, we got regular Twisted Metal to play through. People in chat are having good news. Multiple of my regular viewers are getting better jobs. I am envious. So, I honestly wanted to do either Darkside or Mr. Grimm, because I felt that the full playthroughs I did for them on Twisted Metal 1 were lacking. And we have a new PS4 version of Twisted Metal 1 that I've never showed off before. So I thought one of them would be a great choice, and I couldn't decide, so I'm going to play through both of them on hard mode. And I will certainly never come to regret this decision. One of the nice things about the PS4 version, we can throw down saves. So that means whenever I need to reload all of my lives, I will simply bring up that menu and load my save. And there is another convenient feature, which we will probably see a lot of. I'm already tempted to use it. That's the rewind feature. As soon as I get Yellow Jacket cornered, he is done for. Look at that. That is wildly overestimating how this playthrough is going to go. My full playthrough with Darkside was on a reasonable difficulty, and I was very, very positive about Darkside throughout that playthrough. I've since been convinced that Darkside is actually really bad. And that seemed silly to me. In my Let's Play from a couple of years back, I was very, very highly speaking of Darkside. Because at the time I said repeatedly that armor was the god stat. If you had armor, you were all set. Basically unstoppable, and nothing has more armor than Darkside. This is true on lower difficulties, it turns out. Because I had a very easy time with my playthroughs as Darkside. I did the final boss, and I never was in any real danger. I can't even really tell you what specifically changes on hard mode, but it is distinctly harder. They did something. And it makes the enemies way more dangerous. Okay, I don't quite know what hit me repeatedly there. Crimson Fury is very dangerous, surprisingly. And it doesn't have armor. Further denying my premise. So we're making it to the 3rd level, but I've already lost all but one of my lives. Things are not looking good. I'll try and get through this deathless. But this is the real difficulty spike in the game. Every future level is more difficult than this one, but only slightly more difficult than this one. This level is dramatically more difficult than the one before it. So clearly I don't stand much of a chance of taking down Sweet Tooth, no matter how many times I rewind. If we rewind one step further back, I will be able to reset the RNG and maybe get a different enemy at the beginning. Or different Sweet Tooth behaviors, for that matter. But the thing that really makes Darkside bad is the fact that I can't deal damage without taking damage. Our special is utterly worthless. And therefore, we have to rely on ramming damage for just about everything. So I can't even ram through this car that I need to get out of my way. Try one more time to save myself, but it's looking like we're in for a reload. Okay. I get to drag this lost cause out a little further. Because I think the enemies we haven't seen yet are the ones you actually have to worry about. Okay, clearly not Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket is trivial. I want to say Warthog is in here somewhere, though. Warthog is never trivial. I want to say that Darkside might be extremely good on the PC version of this game, where the enemies are so aggressive that you always are unable to deal damage without taking damage. They really, really alter the AI for that version. And I think Darkside might be the one benefactor of that change. Hammerhead is our boss enemy. Do I have anything at all that I can use to hit roadkill? Technically, no. It is out of my reach. There we go. But how am I going to deal with Hammerhead? We've got some homing missiles that will help. And yeah, I figured if I took a full lap, it would respawn the health refill platforms, because that seems to be the way it works. Just a programming quirk that I have taken note of, and it seems to be fairly consistent. So now if I get Hammerhead out here, should be able to deal with him using my available refills. But Hammerhead does not intend to join me. This level's a nightmare in the speed run, which I am going to have to practice at some point. But enemies just get stuck around here, and then if you rely on them to get stuck around here, they'll do laps around the main area where you want them to be. And there's basically no way to win. You definitely don't want Hammerhead to touch you. He's the winner when that happens. It makes a laser beam sound effect for no good reason. And this is interesting. Expected, but still interesting. Because this platform should have respawned at the same time as the other platform. And I'm fairly certain that it did, and then I did a counterclockwise run of this level, and, like, turned off the second refill. Or something. It's arcane rules. I gotta send it way back. Perhaps even further back than this, but we'll see. Got some rear fire missiles that are worthless, unsurprisingly. Think I gotta try and get this other refill to actually work. Then just shower Hammerhead with homing shots. Yep. Like I said, I've got some kind of instinctive understanding of the rules. I could not explain them. But if you take a clockwise lap around the level, you get refills. Also, sexy billboard. I thought 100% that the sexy billboard would be removed from this version. It is not. I don't know why. It seems like that should be gone, especially because the Hollywood sign in Twisted Metal 2 had to be removed on the PS4 version. But that much more blatant violation of copyright is still here, unaltered. Good for them. In fact, there's virtually no change between the PS4 version and the game that's available on any other console. When this inevitably goes not my way, I am going to have to use the rewind feature yet again to hope for a better outcome. Oh, never mind. There we go. I beat it deathless, merely with an extreme abuse of our rewind feature. And now I need to load the game, because I'm clearly not going to make it any further on one life. So, we'll load into the park. Oh, always forget. Start button brings up that menu. It's the touchpad that confirms your password selection. And I'm honestly not 100% sure why they censored the Hollywood sign out of Twisted Metal 2. I assumed it was something like the Angelin billboard, which is you know, copyrighted material that they do not have permission to use. But for some reason, they went to great lengths to remove the Hollywood sign from Twisted Metal 2. They even removed it from a animated cutscene in the game. I'll have to show that off sometime. But for now, we are in Twisted Metal 1 with no changes whatsoever. It's the same game we know and love. When I did first get this game, I attempted to speedrun with it because the load times are slightly better than on other consoles. The PS2 still has load times beat, though. And they improved the frame rate, and I believe Collision is based on the frame rate to some extent, because I was not able to get collision abuses that allowed me extremely rapid kills, which is what I rely on during the speedrun for this game. So without access to those, the speedrun was pretty hopeless. And I gave up on this version of the game. It pretty much only exists as a novelty if you happen to have a PS4 and PS5, and that's all you really have access to. This is a perfectly fine way to play the game. I like it well enough. But emulation is honestly better. Just outright better. And I survived, Sweet Tooth. Doesn't look like it. Not the way I'm driving. Darkside handles poorly, that's a consistent issue with Darkside. And I'm gonna blame that for my demise. There we go, that's the actual threat down. Clearly you can still do stacked collisions. I just find them much, much, much harder to control, especially with Warthog, who is far and away the best possible vehicle with which to do speedruns. Warthog is significantly faster than Darkside and more maneuverable, and that actually works against you when you're trying to set up those perfect collisions. There we go. Got my full refill with 1 HP left. Now all I gotta do is clear out Mr. Grimm. How hard could that be? It's starting to look like I'm going to need to refill my lives after every single level from here on out. And there's only 2 left, so that's not a huge deal. But usually in this game, I don't have to do that. I can get through multiple levels on your allotted 3 lives. Not so much today. I don't even want to try getting through Suburbia. Did it again. Probably will do that every time. But I have to suspect we're not doing too many additional reloads after this point. Even though I am planning to do an entire additional playthrough after this. Sort of the idea here is to compare. When it comes to being the player, what's the better vehicle? Mr. Grimm or Darkside? The highest armor vehicle or the lowest armor vehicle? Once and for all settling, is armor the god stat? Spoilers, Mr. Grimm is going to be significantly easier than this playthrough. Although, I've spoken this confidently before on stream, and I paid dearly for it. So perhaps this time, Grimm will be humiliated, and I won't even be able to complete that playthrough, even with passwords. Let's try and praise Jesus. Getting on the invisible hotspots for your full refills. Very difficult when you're Darkside. Makes a certain amount of sense because it's driven by the game's equivalent of Satan. So the church might not necessarily want to work as a pit stop and fully repair us. But they have no choice. Oh, I stepped in some oil. Just get our missiles. Get out of here. That's right, Crimson Fury is the lowest armor vehicle. It was inaccurate to say that it's Mr. Grimm. But I don't want to play as Crimson Fury again. Crimson Fury takes so much practice. It is a very good vehicle, though, I gotta say. Ultimately, I ended up being able to, like, get through the entire game on a single life with Crimson Fury. I don't like that I died there. Let's try that again. So yeah, this is not quite highest armor versus lowest armor. I just honestly prefer Mr. Grimm. And the difference there is negligible, so here we are. Also, my Mr. Grimm playthrough was on the PC version, making for a very different experience. Enemies hurl themselves at you face first, constantly. And Grimm benefits from that, because his special is otherwise very difficult to aim, but enemies have no self-preservation instinct in that version of the game. Gonna try and survive this? I want to say they probably increased damage numbers that enemies deal, because we just get destroyed, melted every time we interact with anybody. They might fire faster. It's unclear what exactly they did. But there's a lot going on that does not benefit us. And that missile's never going to catch Spectre. I love that the fast vehicles are much faster than all the missiles, so you really need to just rely on them to give up and allow you to kill them. Yellow Jacket and I having an off-ramp, on-ramp fight. The highway sucks anyway. This level would be better if the entire highway just wasn't there. I visibly went right through this homing pickup, and then it appeared in my inventory anyway. Best of both worlds. It glitched around it and get the pickup anyway. Launching Hammerhead directly into myself was not a very sound strategy. He's aggressive and constantly on top of me. I'm gonna try and get some distance from him and look for actually good weapons, so that when he is approaching me so aggressively, I will be able to shoot him. Like the aforementioned Mr. Grimm strategy I was just talking about. Not that Warthog is much better to see. We do get to deal as much harm as we take. Stacking up enemies is not a good idea, because you'll just die. But it's tempting to do because they will ram into each other. They're so aggressive, and I mean, you deal more than an entire health bar's worth of damage in that cuddle puddle. But you'll probably die in the process. I'm gonna let it ride. There's a lot of enemies in the red. And I didn't have many weapons to lose anyway. Pretty much all specials except ours will cause an enemy to spin around in a nice circle. Sometimes that gives you a great deal of control over them. Usually it just screws up their aim and makes them less harmful than they might otherwise be. Our special is literally useless. No knockback or spin around or anything. Virtually no damage, no homing. I legitimately don't know what they were thinking with Darkside special in this game. That's a power missile. That'll be great for dealing with Hammerhead, who is right here. And incredibly dangerous. Too dangerous. Should, yeah, I already have my power missile. Wait here for Hammerhead. Still alive because he's Hammerhead. Got him, but not much left of me at this point. Someone's trying to swoop in to finish me off. And there they go. Nice work, someone. I'm gonna try not to touch that spinning corpse. Got him with more health left over this time. So the rewind feature makes the game dramatically easier. I'd be having to play much more safely and better, quite frankly, if I did not have that at my disposal. I would still more or less be able to get through this. Gonna look for a part of the level that I haven't completely scoured of resources. There was something in that van. I have no idea what it was. Pretty much all the enemies are ready to die. But as I pointed out, we can't deal damage without taking it. So I'm gonna need some kind of help. And Mr. Grimm is basically unharmed. Classic Mr. Grimm fashion. He's always ready to whip around a corner and blow me up. Another one down, but it did deal me some damage. Now I have literally no health to spend. I'm gonna go out on the highway. See if that causes any of the recharges to appear again. Become active once more. I've honestly never seen that happen, so this is not a sound strategy, unlike doing a clockwise lap of the highway, which, as proven, does cause refill stations to become active once more. We all saw it. Sooner or later, a ref is going to murder me. Or a wall, for that matter. touching walls does damage, and it can be lethal damage. There it is. Yeah, that's a ref sniping me in the back. Without recharges, I don't know what to do. And they're just not coming back because their rules are incredibly arbitrary in this game. Wish I hadn't let it ride on Warthog. Grimm, we don't want to deal with specifically. But he will not track me aggressively. Maybe a little too aggressive. Deadly tree. At this point, I have to decide whether or not I can salvage this or do it all again. I would prefer I not try to salvage it. Spectre, I'm not even sure where he is. What part of the map is that? Must be the highway, because I can't get there from here. Here's where I died last time. Yeah, Grimm is actually chasing me. Seems to have given up, though. It really does look like that's that for this run, though. Yeah, can't get my recharges. Can't do anything. Very strange. You don't see that too often. But this game has rules. And it will weight them against you, especially on hard mode. Technically, I could rewind all the way back before I died the second time. Thrilled with this start. But if I get Sweet Tooth dead, it will be acceptable. Sweet Tooth is attempting to run away. Unsuccessfully. I don't like that. Yeah, I expected the special to come out the second I got off the health refill. However, the timing was off. And instead I just landed on Thumper's head. Goomba stomped him. I'm definitely phasing through weapon pickups now. Hey, that actually worked. I was 100% certain that would not count. It's a miracle. Don't want to fight Hammerhead yet. What I want is the weapons that are in here. Hammerhead, however, is rather insistent. One power missile left. Desperately trying to input a freeze combo. Hammerhead actually froze me several times. That's my move, man. That mine probably would have killed me. Barely swerved around it. Upper's on the highway. Warthog is still going to be a problem, but pretty much everyone else is trivial. Right there, I definitely would have been able to bash Yellow Jacket to death on any other version of this game. But collisions work the way they are intended. I'm going to see if I can still take advantage of it. Juggle him a little bit. Apparently not. And happy with how that worked out as well. We'll get him. Using time travel. Warthog I do not stand a chance against, though. Gonna cross this field and fill back up. This is the worst vehicle to try and get on recharge platforms. The required alignment is nigh impossible. Didn't stand a chance against Warthog, but I did mostly kill him on my way out. About all I could ask for. Good stuff. We're almost done here. Would prefer to have weapons, but they are in limited supply. We'll get to see that Mr. Grimm is much more capable of getting 2 weapon pickup points. And you can imagine that's super useful. Sooner or later, I was going to glitch on that platform. Not entirely sure who's left. Definitely going to beat them, but I'm probably going to die in the process. Oh, it's Mr. Grimm. That sort of was a foregone conclusion. Should be coming out here. What say you, Grimm? Grimm is disobedient today. I do have some missiles I want to deliver onto him before he kills me, which I've accepted. I missed with one of them. That simply won't do. There we go. And he bashed himself into my corpse, giving me some bonus damage. Good old 1 HP. There it goes. Got him with a few pistol shots. Alright, let's get our lives back. That took so much longer than I expected. But it is Cyberbia. Cyberbia taking 15 minutes. Not out of the question. Ever. Now what this needs is something of a fast forward. Emulators have fast forwards. Why not this? But whatever, rewind is handy enough. Outlaw got through that whole encounter unharmed, even though I landed on its head. Probably should not accept that outcome. This is a level that, even with rewinds, is pretty difficult for Darkside. We have, like, nothing we can do against the final boss. Let it ride. Just gonna hope for some decent collisions. Huh. Well, that was avoidable. Sooner or later, Crimson Fury is going to have to do something I can take advantage of. And then it will be no more. Or it will have 1 HP, as is often the case. No chance of catching up here. Thankfully, in this level, there's not many places Crimson Fury can go. But it's going to go to all those places. 1 HP. There it goes. Enemies are just leaving me alone today. This is not a good thing. Yeah, Thumper's gonna loop the entire level before it tries to get to us. Missed with too many missiles there. One HP. There it goes. So we have no resources to deal with Minion. That will require a lot of resources. Something's got to give. And unfortunately, it was blocking my way. I think we're going to have to lure it to this rooftop. Then swap across. And see what we can collect. The worst type of missile. Better than nothing, and a better missile. It can hit us with the taser through the floor, and will often do so. Hate when that happens, quite honestly. Yep. Mess with that. Ooh. Was ready for me. Very, very ready for me. Minion, typically you have to do after you kill the 3 enemies beforehand. Although there is a password that gets you to the 3 enemies and minion at the same time. Which I'm not using at the moment. But yeah, normally he is the boss that appears after you get the 3 regular enemies down. And whatever you have left after dealing with them is what you get to deal with minion. Now I'm in that fun spot where I just got nothing. No weapons. I've got my horrible, useless special, which I think is in the cluster of specials that Minion constantly fires out. But it doesn't really matter even if it is, because it's useless. It'd be hilarious if, like, our special was terrible against every single enemy except Minion. If you manage to clip Minion with it, it deals 10 times damage. Something like that would have been funny. But it would have accidentally made this a good vehicle. Still no weapons. I'm gonna try the C-shaped rooftop. There's like 2 weapons you can conceivably get up there. And in the meantime, we just get to enjoy the extremely good soundtrack. There's the best pickup up here, which is just turbo. Don't know what that was. Probably an oil slick or something. Not entirely sure what was hitting me. Probably refs, but Minion was close. Minion definitely has Spectre specials. Unfortunately, this is my last life and I have no resources again. This is exactly the way Cyberbia was by the time I was done with that. And we all know how that turned out. So, accept our foregone conclusion. I still like Darkside as a vehicle, but yeah, it's dire. It just can't do very much. Bad collision. Want to get that down. This time it didn't cost me almost my entire first life. Need that turbo. Almost had a chance to push Outlaw over. Never really get to do that. Another reason that Warthog is such a good speedrun character is that Hammerhead spawns on this level when you're Warthog, because you get the scripted enemies. And Hammerhead almost always drives off the edge. It can't make the jumps between roofs, and it doesn't know that. These vehicles are all highly maneuverable that we have to fight. They don't have much to worry about. And I've never seen Minion drive over the edge. I've always kind of assumed that Minion just wouldn't die, even if he fell off the rooftop. Loving the collision on these health pickups. It might be that Darkside's hitbox for picking things up is the same as every other vehicle, which would mean the vast majority of this vehicle doesn't count when touching pickups. And you would be left without visual indicator of where you actually do have to touch the pickups. In that assumed case, which I don't even know if it's actually correct. Got some power missiles I want to deliver as Crimson Fury approaches. Ah, yes. Last Tyrant has reminded me that we have had Minion fall off the rooftop, and he just respawns. Good as new. Little bit of damage taken. That's gonna have to be acceptable for now. Probably shouldn't have gathered up every available pickup, knowing that my chances of death were very high. There we go. All enemies down. I have a lot of health left. No weapons, really. There's a weapon. A good one, even. Okay, Minion's running away from me. That's a choice. How about we fight it out, big guy? Maybe not. Doing great. There. Dodge the oil slick this time. And he's gone. Bye, Minion. See you in a few minutes, probably. I will graciously accept additional missiles. This will be a good spot to wait for him. Although he's trying to come up behind me. Can't say I expected that. One of his attacks somehow went between rooftops. Accidentally switched to my absolutely worthless special. No special at all would be better. I really gotta use up these missiles this time. And not get hit with whatever that missile is. Ah, that flamethrower. So Minion is definitely the hardest part of this entire run for Darkside. Because of stuff like that. That's about half of his health. It's a good start. But there is nothing else available to us. He did manage to deal himself some damage there. I think he bumped into the corpse that I left down there. Give him a nudge on my way out. And look for weapons. This game doesn't have nearly enough pickups. And they would do little to alleviate that issue in the second game. They did a little bit, but not enough. That's an actual weapon. Not even just an oil slick. Yeah, he camped. Right in the spot where I'm trying to camp. Damn you homing missiles. Going right through my cab. And he's in a real bad spot. Which is to say, the best possible spot. Which is why I want to be there. Wait for it. He's having an abnormally hard time navigating. Not sure what that's all about. He's almost completely out of his mind with his fixation in trying to get to me. I don't like that red missile. I have no idea what that is. It must have been here on lower difficulties, but I don't recall ever seeing it before. And his approach is through the walls, so I've been unable to hit him. Just gotta check if there's anything over here now. There ain't much. Homing missile is back. A little bit of luck here. There we go. It's finally over. And we know what the prize is. Helicopter view, the ultimate prize. And since we're actually on hard mode, we are dumped right into the fight of your life. An easily forgotten feature. It actually is pretty close to impossible here on hard mode. On lower difficulties, it was actually kind of trivial as Darkside, but very, very difficult as any vehicle that doesn't have maxed out armor. I'm not worried about beating the fight of your life. I've been through enough with that guy. Time for Mr. Grimm. And we'll set down a new save. Oh, that was a load. I forgot how to save. That run took too long. Try this again. Merely one false start. There we go. Now, if we get a high armor enemy like Darkside, we'll be in trouble. This is like the only level in this run that is actually really, really difficult under circumstances like getting dealt Darkside. But we still have 2 lives. I like our odds in getting quite a bit further than that. Rather not waste that special. Up. I got sprunged. The last second. So yeah, Grimm plays like a dream. It's very fun. It feels like having a huge burden lifted off my shoulders, going from Darkside to Grimm. But how will we fare against a real enemy? Our special is still devastating, but enemy contact is brutal to us, so we do gotta run around quite a bit. Homing missiles not targeting my ideal target. Doing a little Twisted Metal Black strategy, where you hit them with a powerful shot to bump them into the air and then drive underneath. Still works here. lost the quick draw there. What do we want? Is to wait for you to come around the corner. Special, yeah. Or go around the corner myself. Take the initiative. I've got no weapons, but I've got mines. This isn't enough mines to kill him, and he touched some of them. Opted not to touch the rest. Oh, no, wait, he killed himself. Best case scenario. Everyone's happy. The freeway will actually be able to handle quite well. Difficulty spike though it may be, we can actually drive around at a reasonable pace. So, we can get from one side to the other very, very quickly. Chase down enemies, escape from ones we don't like. It's like we're playing a video game, instead of just having it happen to us. Really is a profoundly different experience. Uh-oh. It does give me a little bit of overconfidence, that's for sure. Our special actually regenerates way more often than it should, quite honestly. Boy, did they ever overcompensate for that in Twisted Metal 2. Grimm almost never gets to use his special in that game. The layout of this level is mind-melting. Because if you do a clockwise lap of this level, it actually becomes a different place. It is literally an impossible location. It definitely cannot be the square that it seems to be. I always assumed there were just loading zones. If you go far enough, you sort of go through a loading zone and it resets some items, but it also changes the locations of some items. It's the only way to get the homing missile that's out on the highway. Yeah, specials regenerate on a timer. So, like, if you're Crimson Fury, you can hold 5 specials. And I believe they regenerate much faster than other vehicles. Maybe it just seems that way. Maybe all vehicles have the same special regeneration time. The only thing that changes is how many you can hold. I've always been pretty sure that the regeneration time changes significantly between vehicles. Unfortunately, the 2 vehicles I've opted to play as today are bad indicators, because one of them may as well not have any special whatsoever, so I didn't pay any attention to it the entire run. Secret health refill. And a million fire missiles. Should be enough to more or less deal with the one and only actual danger in this level. Gotta try and avoid ramming into enemies. It does basically nothing as Mr. Grimm, besides hurt yourself a lot. And 2 specials with which to deal with Crimson Fury. 1. Aw, 2. I landed them. But Crimson Fury lived. Briefly. Now we got 2.5 enemies with significant health pools. Sweet Tooth isn't actually nearly as high on health as you would expect. A lot of Nickelodeon slime in this very narrow alleyway. How did that miss? I'm gonna reset that. Yeah, missing with a special just wastes so much time overall. It's worth resetting. How did I miss that entire cluster of opponents? There. Finally landed one. Wasn't worth it. A successful, sneaky drive-by. At long last. Was that worth it? I'm not sure. I don't think it was. That's more like it. Just gotta try not to land the enemy on your head. And instead just sneak under. And all's well. I think I'm overall getting an acceptable damage output so far. Did see those Molotovs coming. Grimm is also just significantly more fun than Darkside. Always liked Darkside, still do, but mostly as a concept in this game. Darkside is actually good in Twisted Metal Black, finally. Yellow Jacket. Too annoying. Do not pursue. Oh, I died. Can't have that. Much better. Ugh, died anyway. Rude. Ugh. Having the worst luck. Nope. I will try infinite timelines until I get the one I like. That's by far the best timeline we've had out of that bunch so far. Special back already. Nice big target for it. Another one down. Now Mr. Grimm is the series icon. I mean, Sweet Tooth is barely even playable in future games. You gotta put in a cheat code and everything. Surely this is Grimm's world. Get rid of Yellow Jacket once and for all. That did it. I'll even ram Warthog to death. What do I care at this point? Really get to enjoy the Mr. Grimm special, as was pointed out in chat, which I will casually remind you, looks like this. And let's load up. I'm gonna reset my lives. Even though Cyberbia is one of the easiest levels for Mr. Grimm to deal with, still hedging my bets after how badly the entirety of the Darkside run went. Now we are ready. And immediately crushed underfoot. You heard me talking smack. Let's land both these specials. At least get us started on a good foot. And I'm all out of weapons. Get some new ones. Hammerhead's here. Would kind of prefer that. Solely for the fact that he takes so many missiles to kill. But I have access to an uncommon number of missiles as this character. Thought for a second that wasn't even the right grate. But of course it was. Little too much heat in the LA River today. Gonna make a respectful escape. And continue to phase through pickups. Uh-oh. Juggled. Reset that a little bit. I hope. Hope I don't gotta push it back. I gotta push it back even further. Now we're good. I said we're good. You try to ruin my goodness. Could be a power missile in here. But our special is at least twice the damage of a power missile. It's quite absurd. With a gigantic hitbox. So that even without homing, you can land it pretty easily. I did touch an enemy, which was a mistake. A preventable mistake. Let's see how this goes. Stay bold, Spectre. Gives me plenty of opportunities to hit him very easily. Still got Warthog and Hammerhead to deal with. It's a lot of meat on the field, as the old saying goes. There's my own mine, coming back to haunt me. It is party time over here. You don't get nearly as many sliding textures here on the PS4 version, but there's a few. They sneak in here and there. Seems like for the most part they fixed that Z-axis issue that plagued the PS1. But it is charming. I do like it on actual PS1 games. And the growing trend of PS1 likes modern attempts to interpret the PS1 style. They never have the sliding textures. Must be hard to emulate. Or possibly give some people motion sickness. Not me, though. And therefore I want them. Oh, Hammerhead's right on my tail. Really right on my tail. I've not been able to shake him yet. Not sure I like that exchange. Arr. Take that back a little further. That old Crimson Fury Hammerhead combo. They make a good team. And we're about at that point where I have cleaned out the whole level. Everyone's favorite part of a Twisted Metal game. Still a scant few weapon pickups and this precious health platform. I should probably make sure I actually land that special. It's gonna come in handy at this point. And I have so little else to work with. Speaking of PS1 likes, Bloodborne cart was supposed to be out by now. Bloodborne cart is not out by now. It's supposed to come out on January 31st. But they got a cease and desist from Sony. And they now have to strip out all copyrighted materials, including all references to Bloodborne in Bloodborne cart. It's quite unfortunate. It's especially unfortunate to see companies coming down on not-for-profit projects like that. Like, no one was making any money off of Bloodborne cart. So normally, studios just let that go. Not this time. But it should, I mean, it will still eventually be out. The game was done. It was ready to go out the door. But now they need to remake it. By they, I mean one person. Yep, I do gotta land that special. Very important. Very important. Looking like specials are all I'm gonna have. So I will try and deliver some to Crimson Fury here, who is stuck on Sweet Tooth's corpse. It is sticky. It was full of ice cream. And that has to have melted by now. But yeah, when Bloodborne card comes out, I will play it. Because it is a car combat game. At least it looks like a car combat game. It might end up just being a kart racer. And I'll still play it for that anyway. Because it's a really cool one. But it is looking like much more of a car combat game. Beautiful. Suburbia down again. On the bright side, the Twisted Metal TV series did get renewed. Was glad to hear that. That happened like late last year, and I just haven't had a chance to mention it on stream. But yes, actual good news. That TV series was good, and spoilers, but the next season is going to actually involve a Twisted Metal competition. The first season didn't. It was all a setup for that eventual competition. Still fun. Still a good show. Probably even better with a competition to look forward to. And also my channel gets a gigantic boost whenever Twisted Metal related content comes out. So, yeah, good stuff all around for me. The pyramid is ridiculous to break. The reason Darkside gets down so quickly is because ram damage is very, very powerful, and that's a completely stationary target. So ramming it is easy, and you get full ram damage every time you hit it, which is often not the case when hitting enemies. Oh, we got Hammerhead here. Hammerhead might fall off if we get him to switch rooftops frequently. They announced a new Twisted Metal game in 2022, and then they stopped talking about it. They haven't made a peep about that game in a long time. I would still say it is likely that it will eventually come out. But then again, it might not. Ever. If the TV series becomes something of a phenomenon, then it'll definitely come out. But that is an unlikely scenario. It's a successful TV show, but it is very far from being a phenomenon. I honestly don't think they were going to renew the Twisted Metal TV show until the strike happened, and they sort of needed to immediately jump on top of IPs that they still had access to when they got back from the strike. Also, I did read that trust in the studio system has plummeted since the strike, and people are really not pitching new ideas. So shows that they have under contract already, their value increased a great deal until they can get people to forget about the entire reason they went on strike in the first place, which might take a few years. Till then, we'll probably be seeing new seasons of shows that you probably wouldn't have expected would get new seasons. Where is this giant enemy at? One more like that. And he will be out of here. One enemy left. And we will have this second run completed. That was not a good way to die. Bumping an entirely avoidable barrier. That's more like it. That's how you die. Still gonna try and avoid that. Let's see. The ref got me. Probably kill this guy. Didn't have my homing missiles selected. Probably is not worth trying to salvage. Yeah, one shot. Good enough. Now, if there is a secret healing spot on the rooftops, I will be surprised. I invite you to impress me. Sev312 in chat. Throwing down the gauntlet here. But I am not aware of such a thing existing. Also, apparently, if we touch a minion at all, we die instantly. So whereabouts might this full health refill hypothetically be? I can think of no spot where it would even make sense. When I first found out about secret health refills being in multiple levels, I was able to intuit where some of them were. But this level, I can't even guess. If there is one, could be literally anywhere. Satellite dish next to the pyramid, eh? did notice that that satellite dish sort of stuck out as a unique object. Thought there was one closer to the pyramid. I might have destroyed it already. That's obviously not it. Clearly it doesn't exist. I'm being trolled. I might have to, like, go back into this level afterwards. Uh-oh. I'm gonna undo that damage that I just took. I'm gonna stop ramming into minion. If I were able to find that healing spot, it would be very, very useful right about now. Up, right off the building. Try it again, then. Yeah, that's clear, not the right one. We'll come back to this level after I finish this fight. We'll see just how healing that satellite is. Damn you, minion. Oh, how did that miss? The second one should leave him with 1 HP. No, it killed him. Killed him outright. Good stuff. I've won the 10th Twisted Metal competition. You know, what's interesting is the next Twisted Metal game that comes out will be the 10th one in the series. Will it somehow be the 10th Twisted Metal competition again? Maybe like an actual strict remake of the first one. I mean, at this point, it may as well be. Although, honestly, if there is another one, it'll just be a tie-in with a TV show. You'll play as, like, quiet John Doe. Well, that was a embarrassing performance on the fight of your life. I didn't even intend to fail that bad, but it's a hard fight. I mean, it's the fight of your life. Of course it's hard. Let's see if I can get some kind of miraculous instant heal on the roofs. It all comes down to this. I need to actually take some damage in order for the heal to register as having occurred. That'll do. Pixel by pixel. There it is. It's real. And it's fantastic. That will actually be very, very helpful in the future. Nice work, 7 Chad. We found another one. This heavily implies that every level has a full health refill somewhere. Because at this point, the vast majority of levels, and there's only 6 levels, to have 4 out of the 6 levels have health refills, it definitely implies that there are more. But if there are, we'll have to find them through pixel hunting. I don't know how these were ever discovered in the first place, or how they were intended to be discovered. Did this game come with a, like, strategy guide from Prima? I have no idea. Well, I'm surprised this took as long as it did, but 2 full runs. The second run was almost half the time of the first one. Mr. Grimm is very good and very fun. I used to consider him almost unplayable in this game. But the power of the special and the frequency with which it recharges really makes a huge, huge difference. Twisted Marathon. Oh, I got an achievement. Cool. So, Twisted Marathon should be happening March 10th. I might have to reschedule again, because there are life circumstances that I cannot account for, but it is very, very likely that it will happen on March 10th. But that 1% chance that it won't really eats at my soul. Yep, March 10th, Mario Day, and also the anniversary of this channel. It is possible that the healing spots are dev shortcuts that they left for themselves. There are a lot of those, especially in PS1 games. Curious to think about. But for now, we're done with Twisted Metal. We are not done with the stream. I am going to go into a different game. One that I've done before on stream fairly recently, called Road Retribution? Something like that? We'll see. It's a modern game referencing Road Rash from the Sega Genesis. Road Redemption, thank you, chat. I am at the top of my game today. Twisted Marathon, March 10th. Put it on your calendar in pencil in case you have to erase it. But for now, stick around for Road Redemption. I am Fiendly, and I thank you for watching Twisted Day.